getting to the places we need to go and the people we love the most is central to our quality of life.
I used to, of course, drive, up until I got sick in February, and I haven't driven since then.
For older adults like Lillian, who either choose not to or are unable to drive, finding safe, reliable, and affordable transportation can be challenging.
You can't get to the doctor if you don't have transportation. You can't get to a grocery store. You can't see your friends. You can't do a lot of things.
It is a huge problem. In Cochise County, we're a primarily rural county. It's a large county with a lot of unimproved roads, and they don't have a lot of resources. There's not a lot of financial stability down here.
The cost of not getting a ride can be high when it means social isolation.
It's actually the equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, to be isolated socially.
Transportation continues to be a real problem. And I think it would be remiss if we didn't talk about the current state that we are in the middle of a pandemic right now. And being able to get seniors vaccinated, transportation is one of the biggest obstacles.
Now, an innovative model is providing funding and guidance to local governments, nonprofits, and other service agencies to improve rural transportation options. It's known as the Rural Transportation Incubator, a program of Age-Friendly Arizona.
There are three main components to this work. The first is actually providing direct rides to older adults. The second component of this program is to take a look at how we can use technology to streamline those services. The third component then is national replication. So can we offer this model to other communities in the country? We know all older adults at some point would benefit from transportation assistance, and communities really can do more in this space, given the proper support and inspiration.
RTI it's really just been an amazing experience for us. And in the first year, we got a 2-year grant to increase volunteers, so aggressive volunteer recruitment, which then morphed into food delivery as well.
And by being able to provide these grants to smaller nonprofit organizations to be innovative, they're coming up with creative solutions.
So what we tried to do was to provide seed money and initial money for pilots that could demonstrate and test some of the hunches that we had about transportation. Then MAG was able to take public dollars and draw those down and advance those ideas.
Being in a rural area, guess what? We have to have partners, and we rely on those partnerships. We all have to work together to make something good happen. And so we work closely with the local healthcare system, with individual doctors, primary care physicians, with all sorts of service clubs and teams.
So the nonprofit sector, including some really interesting projects here in Arizona, are showing that they're an essential component of this. They provide a lot of the transit services that provide access for people who are older or have disabilities that are not possible through governmental sources.
So I think that it's really important that funders understand that this is not government's responsibility alone. It's something that we do need to partner in at many levels. It could be at the seed level, it could be in future demonstrations. But I think that philanthropy does need to take another step in advancing issues of transportation for the future.
We have developed a toolkit called Blind Spot, which is specifically for philanthropy, because sometimes foundations feel a bit hesitant about coming into the transportation space. One, because they think it's unending, which it's true, it is, and government's taking care of it. on their own, which is not true. And they each have a role to play. The second toolkit is being developed right now, and that is to build community capacity. So we can provide the case studies and the documents and the forms, but this toolkit is different in the sense that it's really looking at how do we build community capacity for this work? How do you build the political will, the community support to be able to offer transportation services for older adults on a long-term basis?
So, what lessons have we learned? By leveraging partnerships, rural communities can take on this work successfully and create sustainable, impactful transportation solutions.
So my advice, first of all, to communities who might be considering this kind of work is to be brave and clunky. And I know that feels uncomfortable, and trust me, it is. But if you can take that to heart and remind yourself to be brave and clunky, to be brave and take that first step out into this field, because sometimes all that people need is someone to take that first step, someone to make that first phone call, someone to say the idea out loud for the first time.
So once you put out that call, they will come. They will. And they will roll up their sleeves. We've had volunteers who've been doing this for over 14 years, steadily, every week. It becomes just a part of your own life, being able to serve others. And it's so reinforcing and so beautiful.
And I'll tell you, caregivers has been a godsend to me.
You feel that gratefulness so deeply. That's what drives us.